Hey, Mortgage Coach community, Dave Savage here, and today I am interviewing the one, the only Realtor Glenn Bill. What's up, my man?
What is up, Dave? Good to see you, Coach Phenomenon and Mortgage Coach community. Good to
Yeah,
be with you again.
it's always good to have you. I've interviewed you a bunch of times, but my favorite interview, I was just looking at it when I was prepping for this conversation. It's been watched over 4,000 times, and the title was "What Do Realtors Really Think About Loan Officers Marketing?" That's still one of my all-time favorite calls, brother.
That's one of my crowds when I speak to mortgage professionals. That's what they call for. They love to see what everybody does wrong.
Exactly. So by the way, if you're watching this, you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to put a link to that video below. If you want to hear what Glenn Bill thinks about loan officer marketing, it's down there, and it's pretty candid. So that's cool. Well, I always love your perspective because you always bring something that's very candid, something that's very seasoned. Um, Before I get into the questions, if you could just, anybody who doesn't know who you are, tell us a little bit about your market, your production, and what you're up to nowadays.
Yeah, well, cool. I have been selling real estate for 30 years. So I've been through the ups and the downs again, and now back to the ups. And I got a real estate team here in Indianapolis. We're banging about 120 transactions a year. We're doing 10 deals a month. We're having a lot of fun with it. And to be honest with you, it's not that hard. The market's easy. And that presents its own challenges to many different people. And it presents challenges to loan officers for sure, as well as the people that run in the real estate market. So, we're doing our thing. We're listing lots of homes. We're probably about 60% heavy listings, and then the other 40% buyer side. And then I go around the country and I speak at conventions and association meetings on high performance and on attitude. As you know, I have a number one international bestseller, The ABCs of Attitude. So I work primarily with real estate brokers. I train real estate brokers. I have a program called Source of Sales, which is a 10-hour program, which adds tremendous value. Loan originators bring me into their markets. I train 100 to 200 agents at a time, and I help those loan originators build those relationships with the agents in the office. I give them strategies on the 4 different levels of realtors. So when you bring me into the market, the bottom line is I guarantee you're going to get 2 loans to pay for me to be there. And I'm doing that probably twice a month. I'll do either a keynote or a source of sales training. I do that about 24 to 30 speeches and or trainings a year. So I'm busy. The source of sales training program's coming out in a book form. So we're doing final edits on that. That'll be my second book. And you know what? We're just going through the real estate business and the speaking business. I'm God led, Dave. I just do what I know I can do. And boy, everybody's out there. I was just at Tony Robbins in January at his Business Mastery. And the thing that struck me the most, the number one takeaway, was the most valuable asset that we have is our attention. And boy, that really, hit home with me. And so many people want my attention, and I want so many people's attention. And the way that people are getting realtors' attention is crazy, and salespeople's attention. And so I've been studying, the masters, the Darren Hardys, who you've had on your show, and the Tony Robbins, and I go, oh my God, the emails these guys put out are incredible. But this thought of how do I grab a realtor's attention to get more loans? Or how do I grab a buyer or seller's? Everybody's in a search for your attention. And to me, it's a fascinating topic. It's fascinating to see who's doing a good job getting it. And certainly with what you do, Dave, I love your stuff. And you get a lot of people's attention. You do a good job once you have that. So congratulations to you.
Well, thanks for that. So you're killing it on the real estate side, 120 transactions. You're speaking and leading. Uh, I'm sure you've seen the headlines. Everybody's talking about some new technology company that's coming out. Everybody's chasing the rocket, wants to deliver the digital mortgage experience. And, just a lot of talk about tech and the importance of it. What's your take? Where do you see things over the next couple of years? Where do you see technology as it pertains to the typical realtor and loan officer today? What are some of your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, to be very honest with you, tech doesn't play into our game much. And to be honest with you, I think real estate is still stuck back, in 20 years ago. I think tech, as Justin Tucker talked about, it's a great enhancement tool. I think it's a great attention getter. But I don't think tech will ever trump the relationship and the personal experience. But it could. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it could. But I can tell you that our company does over 4,000 transactions. I'm in a company with 357 other agents. I mean, hell, it may be 8,000 transactions. And I don't see tech as the tipping point. I still see it as personal relationships. I spoke to a group of mortgage loan originators the other day. My son got in the mortgage business, and I walked in, and I said, "Tell me why I would use you." And they gave me all these great reasons. And I said, "Well, here's the problem. My son's a mortgage originator. And you know who's going to get my business? The guy I love the most, because he's my son." And so no matter how great your tech is, no matter how sexy it all is, if you got a family relationship or a personal relationship, it's hard to bust through with tech. But as an enhancement tool, as a way to set yourself apart, as a way to differentiate, as a way to mass produce and to leverage what you're doing, certainly tech has its place. But I was shocked on your call yesterday. It said, how many realtor meetings are you having in a month? And over 60% of the people on your call said 1 to 3. And that blew me away. I mean, it blew me away. And I know that picking up a phone, researching an agent online, going to their office costs you nothing. And all this other technology costs you a whole bunch. And it begs the question, how many of your listeners know what to do to be successful? And the real question is why don't we do what we know we should do in order to increase business? And your Tuesday calls are fascinating to me. I love being outside of the mortgage industry to see what loan originators think. I love your business. I love loan originators. I love mortgage coach. It just fascinates me to see the people that are trying to capture my heart and mind, how they think and what they do and what they don't do. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. So a couple things. You mentioned the video in the interview I had with Justin Tucker, the Chief Marketing Officer for WFG Title. I'm going to put a link to that below because he had just attended Inman Connect in San Francisco and we were doing a debrief on it. So it's below. Also, you mentioned the mastermind I had yesterday with Danny Harani, one of the top originators in the country by far. And I'm going to put a link to that below because it was all about how to have the perfect realtor meeting. And anyways, you called out the fact at how few meetings loan officers were going on. And I don't know if you were on the whole call, but before I asked that question, I asked, what your production is. Who's closing 5 or less loans a month, who's closing 10 or more. And if you noticed, the percentages were kind of the same. The people that were having the most realtor meetings were making the most money and closing the most loans, and the people. Now, again, I didn't line up the names like, oh, this guy checked 5 loans or less, and he checked, but I'm pretty sure if I go through and analyze that, it's there's going to be a trend. The more times you're on the phone call talking to a loan officer or talking to a realtor, the more times you're having a borrower conversation, the more money you make. So, I mean, good point. Again, I'm pretty passionate that the ultimate professional going forward has to be a coach or advisor because let's face it, technology is coming out there and it's going to the consumer direct. And if you are not a trusted advisor and coach, that's a problem. And I'm pretty sure that you need to leverage tech. I mean, maybe you don't need to be a tech nerd, but you need to leverage tech because it becomes a consumer expectation, and especially with millennials. I mean, they expect to do some business with their mobile phone. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
So, the quintessential overused word is value. We got to give value. And I was speaking to a group just the other day, and I said, "Give me the definition of value." And of course, nobody. They said, "What something's worth." They gave me all these definitions that don't really apply to sales. And value, which we've explained on your show or on what we do, is what you do for the customer on behalf of the customer before you even ask for the sale. And so the question is what are loan originators doing for realtors on behalf of realtors before they even ask for a loan? And that's why my program and source of sales, and when loan originators bring me into their market and they get instant results when I train 200 agents, that is the perfect way, right? We're going to get 100, 200 agents in. We're going to train. You're going to get Glenn Bill's cutting edge, how to cut time with every customer. Uh, every realtor's biggest problem right now is they're too busy. They don't know how. The 5 questions you get, Jeremy's questions, 5 questions you ask a realtor. Well, I do much of the same thing. And again, not to repeat myself, but the secret to market dominance for real estate agents and for loan originators is my ability to meet somebody and to close a sale in a faster manner than anyone else. And my average time for the time I shake a client's hand, my actual face-to-face time right now is down to about 4 hours and 30 minutes if I time my appointments with my clients from handshake to paycheck. And a lot of realtors are spending 6 months, 3 days, and 15 hours with a client, right?
Right.
And so technology can obviously, cut through that. On the millennial front, we all love to chase millennials. But I was just talking to a group of financial advisors, and they said, you know what? There's a lot of people with a lot of money who aren't millennials. And there's a lot of transactions in real estate, and there's a lot of mortgages to get that aren't millennials. So I think it's sexy to pursue millennials. I have millennials. I'm a father of 4, and they're all millennials. But you know what? There's a lot of agents and a lot of loan originators that are making a whole lot of money with people that are very wealthy, that are older, that aren't millennials. And as sexy as they are to chase, I think, Generation Xers and baby boomers, you know what? Stop chasing them, right? Because you're not going to get them anyway. One of my favorite things I like to say is the way you feel about somebody is the way they feel about you. And if you don't like millennials, I can promise you they don't like you either. And it will come through tech or no tech.
I
That's just
love
my
it.
thought.
Hey, one thing I always get from you is pure candor, and I love every bit of it. It's a great
Thanks,
perspective.
man.
And again, that interview we did about what do loan officers really think of marketing, it was brilliant. And again, you've been a huge ambassador of Mortgage Coach. You do believe in the total cost analysis. It's
Absolutely.
something of value. It's technology, but it's pure value. You're helping people understand the cost over time. Because it's you on this call, I'm not going to put a link to a millennial rep versus own below. I'm going to put a link to a move up analysis. What could
There
we
you go.
do to help a family go, oh, I need to sell with Glenn Bill today, and it's time to move up. So I'm going to put one of those down below, so
Great.
people
I've
can.
seen it.
Yeah, you've seen it, but folks who are watching this call may not have. So Glenn, it's always good to talk. Any final words of advice? I like to keep these to 15 minutes. I'm sure I'm going to have you scheduled back on a 1 hour call before the year is out. But any quick hits for the mortgage coach community as we wrap this up?
Well, interestingly enough, as I always do before we talk, I go and interview 10 to 15 agents in my office or marketplace, specifically asking them the questions you asked me. And what everybody wants to know is, hey, what can loan originators do to get more referrals from people like you? And overwhelmingly, My answer is this, that I heard not only from me, but from others. And it's all about outperforming every other mortgage broker when you're on the other side of the listing. I can't tell you how many agents just today, I mean, I just did this morning, said, Glenn, you know, the number one thing that would get me to give a loan originator a new opportunity is over notification, not over communication, but the sheer over, you know, to outperform any other lender when you're on that, you know, to the listing agent, if that makes sense. So
Makes sense.
the one example was Quicken Loans. We had a sale, the sale fell. We were behind the eight ball. We had to get a loan closed. They said, oh my God, Quicken Loans, big, huge company, right? All internet based. Some people are concerned. Well, she said, my Quicken Loan rep, and she wasn't her, she was the listing agent. The Quicken Loan rep gave her notifications twice a week, didn't call for the conversation, but just a quick email. And it created what every real estate agent wants and what every buyer and seller wants. And it's called certainty. And that's what the total cost analysis does at Mortgage Coach. It creates significance by the end user, but most of all, it creates certainty. And when you have certainty and significance inside of a transaction created by the total cost analysis, it makes it gold. So my advice to those who are listening is over notify. Don't try to communicate, call or talk to them or bother them, but over notify them when you're the listing agent on how great things are going. And my guess is you'll get a shot. That's my tip for the day. And just like every other mortgage tip, it's the same stuff for the past 20 years. I mean, as I listen, I'm going, my God, it's all the same thing. And I think it has all come around when we talk about personal relationships, how to build loyalty. Like loyalty is the highest level of customer satisfaction. I train people how to get loyal customers, not satisfied customers.
So I want to close out, but I want to make sure everybody really heard what Realtor Glenn Bill just said. He, you know, obviously the total cost analysis creates certainty around the decision, and it's a great communication tool. But those notifications, which I think is a good testament to WFG's new app, what's it called? My Home. I think we're going to see more of that where, hey, I'm getting a loan and I'm getting transactional updates. So I don't need a phone call. I don't need anything. Just like Uber, you know, I ordered the Uber and I know where it is. Like, here it comes. Here it comes. I mean, I can order a pizza and know where it's at. Not that I do that kind of thing. So this has been great. I do want to remind folks, check out the videos below. If you got takeaways from this, like it, give us a like, share it with your mortgage friends. That's how Glenn and I will know whether this was a valuable video based off of the likes and the shares. How do people get in touch with you? What's a website they should go to get more Glenn Bill?
Sure. So we just launched our brand new website, glennbill.com. That's my keynote speaking website.
Easy.
And you can go to gbunlimited.com. That's my mortgage and real estate training website, GB Unlimited, or just go to glennbill.com, or you know what, pick up the phone and call me. Pick up the phone and call. There's a great tip, 317-590-7757. Love to hear from anybody.
I'm going to put a link to those below too. Thank you for your time, brother. Appreciate all the candor and all the value you bring to Mortgage Coach. And let me know how we can serve your son. I would love to help him get a good, quick start in the business. So I'll reach out on a personal note on that.
Cool. Thanks, Dave. Thanks for all you do, bud.
Take care, brother.